Okay, everyone, this is Joseph Holbrook. We've had the delightful experience of going through the introduction to the Christian scriptures over the last 15 weeks. This is for a course in the fall of 2022 at the Florida International University in the Religious Studies Department. We've been using the textbook Engaging the Christian Scriptures written by Arterberry, Bellinger, and Dotson, and now we find ourselves halfway through the last chapter. Chapter 8, the Johannine Letters, and the Book of Revelation. So let's jump into this and get started. So here's an outline. The Johannine Letters, the occasion, the letter of 1 John. We'll go in a little more detail, the genre and content of the letters. The Revelation of John, the final book of the New Testament. We'll discuss the author and the audience, the genre, the situation and the content, and then we'll conclude with a brief theological reflection about the Catholic letters, otherwise known as the general letters or the epistles, and we'll go from there. So here's a little graphic. I thought the orange fire looked good considering we're talking about Revelation. So the Johannine Letters, this is on page 263 of the textbook. The Johannine Letters are 1, 2, and 3 John, or 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, but the name John appears nowhere in the letters. Instead, the author of 2nd and 3rd John is identified simply as the elder. These letters are named John because they are associated with the Gospel of John. All 4 texts are likely originated within the same Christian community. The letters have circulated as a package. Okay, I'm having technical difficulties. Give me one moment. There we go. I'm back. This is the first day of school, so I'm dressed up. And here we are. Okay, I've got my I lost it again. Why am I losing my, sorry about this. Okay, here we go. I'm going to leave it alone this time. So 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John are the Johannine Letters. They're probably written by within the same community, not necessarily the same person. 2nd John serves as sort of a cover letter for 1st John, addressing the church as a whole and introducing the major topics of 1st John. 1st John is a written homily that presents in full rhetorical force the teaching of the elder. The occasion. The letters of John reflect a Christian community that became deeply divided over theological debates about Jesus. Some members eventually separated from the rest of the community, creating a deep division. The author refers to these as antichrists because they believe that because they refuse to acknowledge that Jesus is the Christ or that Jesus has come in the flesh. Most likely, these opponents espoused an early version of Docetism, from the Greek dokein, which means to seem, which emerged late in the 1st century or the early 2nd century of the Common Era. Docetism denied the humanity of Jesus. Its proponents agreed that Jesus only seemed to be human. Contemporary scholars envision that the Johannine community as a network of house churches in a limited regional area, possibly Roman Asia Minor, the Roman province of Asia Minor, with a base church in the vicinity where the elder resided. The divided community then refers to various house churches that either accepted or rejected the authority and the teaching of the elder. 3rd John provides a helpful window into this situation. The elder writes to Gaius, who presumably hosts a house church. Gaius stands in contrast to a certain Diotrephes, who is one of the defectors. Diotrephes does not acknowledge the elder's authority and spreads false charges against the elder. 2 John reflects the importance of hospitality and its role in the community's conflict. Do not receive into your house or welcome anyone who does not bring this teaching, for to welcome is to participate in the evil deeds of this person. 1 John does not contain the usual characteristics of a letter. There's no conventional salutation or concluding remarks. The text does not resemble what one would expect in the body of an ancient letter. The genre of 1 John is best understood as a homily, that is, a sermon, that exhorts readers to embrace ethical and theological teachings based on outside authority, that is, scripture or tradition. In 1 John, the author relies on eyewitness tradition, which the author received and now preserves. 1 John alternates between ethical exhortation and Christological exhortation. These two forms of exhortations are intended to complement one another. A correct belief about Jesus will correlate to the correct behavior. These exhortations are specific to the conditions of the Johannine community. The exhortations emphasize that Jesus is the Christ, that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh, that Jesus is the Son of God. They proclaim a Christology that separates a human Jesus from the divine Father and the divine Christ. As a result, the author of 1 John instructs the house churches to examine passing or traveling teachers to see if their spirit-inspired messages contain the correct confession. The ethical exhortations revolve around the theme of love. In chapters 2, chapter 3, and chapter 4, verses that are given are best understood in terms of fidelity or loyalty. To love one another means to be faithful to the community and to its Christological tradition. Unity of fellowship is underscored throughout. The Revelation of John. Now we're moving into that amazing book. This letter has a bizarre images of monsters and celestial beings, angels. It has enticed readers and spawned a multiplicity of interpretations and controversy in both ancient and modern times. Readers are put off by its strange and enigmatic symbolism. Much of the confusion has to do with the reader's expectations and preconceived ideas about the nature and function of Revelation. One popular view is that Revelation is forecasting the future. In this view, the symbols and images are coded language that refers to actual people and events in the end times. Most people who choose this line of interpretation imagine that they are living in the last days. And here's an image, a painting taken from the Revelation of John, where the angel is standing with 1 foot on land and 1 foot over the sea. Arguments for foretelling. This predictive approach has two problems. First, it restricts the relevance of the message to exclusively the end-time generation. This approach fails to take seriously that Revelation was intended for and addressed to the fledgling churches in Roman province of Asia, or Asia Minor, some 1900 years ago, and therefore its message must have been relevant to them. The second problem is, up until now, this predictive approach has always been wrong. The beasts of Revelation 13 have been speculated to be the Pope, Adolf Hitler, Mikhail Gorbachev, Ayatollah Khomeini, and Saddam Hussein, most of which are all gone by now. But none of these figures have ushered in the end times. A predictive approach to Revelation misunderstands the purpose of the book. The approach we've taken in this book is consistent with what we've done with other writings of the Bible. We attempt to understand the text in its historical and literary contexts. In other words, how was Revelation read and understood by its audience, the 7 churches of Roman Asia, named in Revelation 1 through 3. The author and the audience. The author identifies himself simply as John, who has been exiled to the Isle of Patmos. Early Christian tradition was actually divided about John's identity. Many ancient writers felt that John was the apostle, the beloved disciple, one of the 12 disciples. However, others felt that John was an elder, perhaps the same one who wrote the Johannine Letters, chapter 2 through 3. A third alternative was that John was a Christian prophet. The author of Revelations was most likely an itinerant prophet whose circuit included the 7 churches of Asia. And here is a map. You see over here the Pergamum, Thyatira, Philadelphia, Sardis, Smyrna, Ephesus, and Laodicea. Most likely Ephesus would have been the base church or the central church, since it had been around since St. Paul had established a school there. And you see here the Isle of Patmos, right off the coast. The book of Revelation is a word of prophecy. We're now talking about the genre. It's a word of prophecy written in the form of an apocalypse, contained within an inspired scripture, with a letter framework. A word of prophecy written in the form of an apocalypse with a letter framework. The message of Revelation originates from the author's vocation as a Christian prophet. Revelations chapter 1 verse 10 says, I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and I heard behind me a loud voice like the sound of a trumpet. So he was in the Spirit, which would be indicative of a Christian prophet. Because he is exiled, John can no longer travel to the churches to deliver his Spirit-inspired message. He has to communicate it to them in writing. One can discern the letter format from the beginning and the end of the letter with the salutation and despedido. I don't know how that got in there. That's Spanish. Maybe I inserted that when I was taking notes. I don't know how you say in English the goodbye, the end, the conclusion. Identifying the sender and the recipients. The introductory chapters reveal the occasional nature of this writing. The author addresses the particular situation of the 7 churches in Roman Asia. Finally, the author presents his word of prophecy as an apocalypse, the same literary form as the book of Daniel. Apocalyptic literature is characterized by elaborate visions, dreams, symbols, numerology, and eschatology, including the final judgment, resurrection, and eternal salvation. An apocalypse is a revelatory literature, and its visions and related symbols are purport to unveil the future or the realm of heaven, or both. The purpose of the letter is correction. These revelations are intended to connect with and interpret the circumstances of the intended readers in order to give them a proper perspective on reality. Some of the churches John addressed were presumably participating in events that included worship of the emperor. Perhaps these churches considered these acts as meaningless or harmless, a way of earning favor in their local town or city. John's vision of the dragon and the 2 beasts reveals that such participation is nothing less than an unholy alliance with Satan and the treason against God and Christ. In other words, serious stuff. The churches might have understood their actions as constructive accommodations and religious ambiguities. However, John does not see it that way. So this is a corrective letter, almost a rebuke, you might say. Earlier scholarship identified Revelation as a response to the general persecution under Domitian from 81 to 96 of the Common Era. He demanded, they speculated that he demanded all inhabitants to worship him as Lord and God. Recent scholarship has questioned this interpretation for two reasons. First, there is no historical evidence of an empire-wide persecution of Christians during the reign of Domitian. Moreover, there's no evidence that Domitian persecuted Christians as a matter of policy. If Christians experienced persecution during the reign of Domitian, it was most likely sporadic and local. We've already talked a little bit about persecution, and in the, I believe it's in this class, persecution in this period of time being sporadic and local rather than empire-wide and pervasive. Second, John envisions a multitude of martyrs in the future, but he's not putting them in the present. And you can look in chapter 6, verse 9, 12, verse 11, 14, verse 3, 16, verse 6, 17, verse 6, and 18, verse 24 to confirm that John is envisioning a multitude of martyrs in the future. John knows that one person has been martyred, that is Antipas, in chapter 2, verse 13, and that a few churches are receiving harassment, and that he himself has been exiled. So these, what he's warning of are simply precursors to a coming onslaught of persecution. Instead of the empire-wide persecution, most scholars now believe that John was addressing a situation in which the readers were accommodating their Roman culture to the point of compromising their Christian identity. Something that still happens occasionally today. So, in terms of the content or the structure of the book of Revelation, one approach to seeing the overall structure of Revelation divides it in three sections. The first is the title and the letter salutation, which is chapter 1, verses 1 through 8. Then comes a vision and messages of the exalted Christ to the seven churches. That's chapters 1 through 3. There's a vision of Christ and messages to the seven churches. And then the third and largest section, from chapter 4 through chapter 25, includes symbolic visions of heavenly scenes and the end of time, supposedly. So there's a vision of the heavenly throne, there's the opening of the seven seals, there's the blowing of the seven trumpets, there's the dragons, the beasts, and the Lamb of God, that is, and seven bowls of wrath. You notice 7 is a prominent number. The judgment of Babylon, which the author of our textbook identifies as Rome in Italy, the seat of the Roman Empire, and the coming and victory of Christ and the new heaven and the new earth in the last chapter. So that's one way to outline the book of Revelation and understand its structure. The vision of the seven seals, the seven trumpets, the seven bowls, all deal with similar subject matter. They incorporate traditional ideas about the end of time, the suffering of the righteous and their subsequent vindication, divine judgment, and eventual eternal peace and salvation. Repetition with variation is the key to understanding these visions. Finally, most of the visions begin with a heavenly scene where the worship serves as the dominant activity. This exemplary worship in heaven calls the audience to participate in the true worship of God and Christ, rather than the idolatrous worship of the emperor and pagan deities of the Greco-Roman culture. Thus, these visions interpret the earthly situation of the seven churches in the light of the divine drama that is happening in heaven and will happen in the end. So the author is reinforcing his point, or their points, that the book of Revelation was written first and foremost for the people of the seven churches that lived contemporaneously with John the Revelator. And of course, it continues to have significance generation after generation but the authors arguing that it's not primarily about foretelling the future. Otherwise, it would only be edifying for the last generation, not all the generations in between. The general epistles, and this is our theological reflection. The general epistles have a collective function within the canon of Scripture of rounding out the biblical witness. The Catholic epistles, you will remember, we're using Catholic in the sense of universal epistles. They're also called the general epistles or general letters. These Catholic epistles include James, 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John, and Jude. Because they became part of the New Testament canon as a collection known as the Catholic epistles. And if I remember correctly, they were added to the canon at a little later date. The epistles of Paul were the earliest elements of the canon that were circulating in the churches. If the Pauline and Gospel collections coalesce around common authorship in the case of Paul and common content in the case of the four Gospels, then the question arises, what is the purpose or logic behind the Catholic collection? Again, remember, that means general collection. Many scholars believe that the Catholic collection was crafted primarily in response to the Pauline collection. And here's a couple of data points to argue that, to support that argument. The development of the New Testament canon had at its core 13 or 14, including the book of Hebrews, 13 letters of Paul in the four Gospels. Perhaps some desired a little more apostolic balance so that the New Testament wasn't overwhelmingly dominated by Paul's writing and theological thinking. The Pauline letters were open to misinterpretation and distortion, which is evidenced both explicitly in 2 Peter 3:14. You can read what Peter has to say about the Pauline letters. He honors them as scripture, but he also mentions that there's some difficult things to understand in Paul's writings, and some people twist and misinterpret them. Also implicitly in James 2:14 talks about this. So it's possible that the shape and framework of the Catholic collection has been influenced by the Pauline collection. For example, the first three names in the Catholic collection are James, Peter, and John. Notice that these are the same names that Paul mentions in Galatians, where he refers to them as the pillars of the church, James, Peter, and John. So is that possibly why James, Peter, and John were included in the Catholic collection, to balance that out with the pillars of the church? Jude is never mentioned by name by Paul, but Paul does mention the other apostles and the brothers of the Lord of 1 Corinthians 9:5. So by implication, Jude is mentioned there. The book of Revelation is the final book in the library or collection that we call the Bible. Not only does it conclude with the canon of the New Testament, but it also provides a proper conclusion to the Christian Bible as a whole. Its vision of a new heaven and a new earth evokes the beginning of the Christian Bible, the canon, with the creation accounts of Genesis. What God began in creation is now consummated in the new heaven and the new earth. So you have sort of bookends. Genesis chapters 1 and 2 and the book of Revelation are somewhat like bookends to the Christian Bible. The Garden of Eden is replaced with a city, the New Jerusalem. A river still runs through the midst of it, and the tree of life is still in it. The darkness and the watery chaos that God subdued and ordered is banished altogether. In the new creation, the threatening waters and the darkness do not exist. As a result, the new creation has no need of a sun or of a moon. The very presence of God gives adequate light. So Revelation gives witness to the divine accomplishment of redeeming all creation. And that concludes our series on Introduction to the Christian Scriptures. And I will have uploaded all 16 lectures to YouTube. If you're not an FIU student, you can sign up for the Christian Studies certificate as a non-degree seeking student. We are working on developing enough online classes that you can do this from anywhere. Also, you can contact me personally if you desire to find out more about the YouTube lectures or the textbook. My personal email is Jose, letter N as in Nancy, MIAMI, Miami, hosenmiami@gmail.com. Jose in Miami. So please feel free to reach out to me, contact me. I'll be happy to talk with you. Thank you. Take care. On now to Introduction to Christianity, which we will primarily do from a historical perspective. So next week I'll be starting with the early church and the Hebrew context and the pagan context. All right, take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.